Hello everybody, Gregor Hawk here. So in today's tips video I'm going to demonstrate how to add footwork to your pell drills. Now I would consider this my secret sauce, so to speak, so shh, this is just in between you and I. Alright, so it's going to be building off of yesterday's footage where I was talking about training in all three positions. It's extremely important. I'm going to demonstrate that right now. Technically I would be using my shield, but I don't want it to really block anything from the camera, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that off today. And again, just like I talked about yesterday, always train with your gear on, your elbows, your arms, demis, helmet. If you're using a shield, use your shield. If you're using a mass weapon, put on your gauntlets. I mean, this is all about simulating reality, and you need to make it as real as possible when you're training. So yesterday I had a huge response to the video. It's well over 3,000 views, which is absolutely crazy. The whole entire goal of this is to help people, and the response I've gotten is saying that it is, so I'm going to continue what I'm doing here. So yesterday one of the responses was people wanted to understand how I'm throwing that off leg shot. So today I'm going to break down in a sequence of one possible reality and show you how to do that. And this is also going to go ahead and build off of yesterday's teachings just a little tiny bit. So let's go ahead and get to work here. Now I know yesterday I explained how to line up to the pale, and this also builds off of that, and I'm going to show you a little kind of trick that kind of tricks the person into thinking that you are straight to them and lined up straight, thinking linear, which is horrible, but it's just a perception thing. So when you go ahead and salute your opponent, you square off with them, and you just go ahead and cover your distance, and when you get to that nice little sweet spot that's just out of range, just slightly turn your body to them and face them slightly. Now this is going to give them the perception that you are facing them straight on, just kind of like the mind frame they have. They're facing you straight on. But in reality you're not. You're in your ultimate position, and you can go in any direction that you want to, front, back, side to side from here. So let's break down the very first thing and why this is awesome and why I do this in my pell routines. Now this is something I haven't really shown too many people, so I hope this gets out there, and I really do hope this helps people, because one of the biggest compliments I have to my fighting is my footwork. And so here we go. Let's just get on with it. I don't want the video to be as long as yesterday's, right? People have things to do. Alright, so what you need to do is you think of it this way. You get right on the very edge of measure. Basically yours or theirs. Go ahead and stand in your ultimate stance. Now you're simulating that first step. So now let's break this down into stages instead of watching the whole thing come together. It's a lot easier to understand this and to grasp it in your mind if you just go ahead and break it down into all the stages and just work on certain stages at a time. So this is what we're going to focus on. So what you're doing, they have either stepped in on you or you have stepped in on them. So what you're doing is you're practicing that first shot from where your foot's going to land right here. And then you just go ahead and practice that one over and over. There's no reason to practice the step, but what you need to do is practice where your foot is planted. That's important. So you go ahead and you practice this over and over, focusing on your hip mechanics, focusing on your returns, and you do that until you get the feels down. Now once you have the feels down, you go ahead and have your foot is still in the same position. And now what you're trying to do is you're trying to focus on training the other aspect of the shot. So it's already struck their shield or their head. At their head, it's all over. But generally it's probably going to strike the shield. Now focus a lot of power on the first shot, because it's going to kick the tail out of the shield. Pop that first one in there. Now you're training where you're going to be moving your other leg in back to the ultimate stance. So you've already gotten to the part where you've struck. Now it's time to practice everything else. So you go ahead, the shot's coming over. I get it to about here, and all I do is turn my wrist over to where it's facing them again. And then work on the hip mechanics right here, return. Do it again. You've already gotten to this stage right here, so you're starting it here. Turn your wrist over, hip mechanics, return. Same thing, you're here, gone past, turn your wrist over, hip mechanics, return. Alright, So now let's say that your opponent, they block the shot. Oh my God, what do you do? The very best thing to do is not to fling your shield out. You're going to want to keep it in your close, in tight guard. So what you do is you use your footwork to get out of the situation. So now we're going to train that situation. So you've already gotten to here. The strikes come through. So now we're going to train the return and then the exit. You've already gotten here. Return, exit. Again, you've already gotten to here. Return, exit. Alright, so now that is basically how I break down all of my drills. Now, if you can imagine, there's a million different shots and possibilities that you can kind of string together, and it's all up to you and how you do your training. Now, I really like it because this is so simple, and I have never really seen a lot of people doing this sort of thing out there, but it really does help with your mind being able to grasp it and your body being able to get those feels on each stage, and it really makes everything just kind of flow really nicely together out there on the field. So I hope this helped everybody. If it did, go out there, think of all those cool little training things you can do now out there on the pell, and I hope it really helps. Have a good one. Bye.